All right, so before we get into the guided practice segment of the lesson, let me share with you the vocabulary drilling exercise that I have for you. All right, so this is the PDF version of the vocabulary drilling exercise. I strongly recommend it be printed and done in paper. Make it a paper-based vocabulary drilling exercise. So students will see, they'll put their first and last name, or it reads name, and put the date they're completing the exercise. And then it reads JuanCarlosESL Newcomers Lesson 11, colors and clothes, vocabulary. So vocabulary part A, the following words are associated with colors and clothes. Read aloud every vocabulary word 3 times each. So just like we did together in this lesson presentation, we read the words together after you had heard me read it. Now you're going to read it 3 times independently. So you read each word 3 times each. Again, you have the visual support on the left-hand side of the vocabulary word. And on the right-hand side, you have the Spanish translation. Entonces, ven las palabras de vocabulario en la mano izquierda, tiene apoyo visual, ahí a la par de la palabra vocabulario. Y a la mano derecha, ve la traducción en español. Okay, so that is part A. You'll read each word 3 times each. Van a leer cada palabra de vocabulario 3 veces cada uno. Lo van a leer en voz alta y así se van a acordar más que lo leen y lo digan, lo dice en voz alta, se van a acordar utilizando, cómo utilizar la palabra de vocabulario. So that is part A, which are 3 pages long. When you get to page 4, cuando lleguen a página 4, es parte B del ejercicio. So part B, vocabulary part B, colors and clothes. Write every vocabulary word 10 times each. Entonces aquí nos toca escribir cada palabra vocabulario 10 veces cada una. Y otra vez se lo repito, que sea en papel. Pueden teclarlo, pueden hacer digital. It can be a digital exercise, but I strongly recommend it be paper-based. So again, the more you use your hands to write your responses in this drilling exercise, have students write the vocabulary word 10 times each. So they write it 10 times each. They'll recall, they'll remember, they'll comprehend, and they will apply it in upcoming lessons. Entonces, para los estudiantes, escriban las palabras de vocabulario 10 veces cada una. So red, you will write down 10 times. Blue, write it down 10 times. Then yellow, write it down 10 times. Yellow, 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 yellow. Write 10 times each. Green, 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 green. Write it 10 times each. Every vocabulary word you will write 10 times. Black, 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 10 times. And then all 30 words you will write 10 times each. Okay? The words are colors and clothes. And there are 30 vocabulary words. And write each vocabulary word 10 times each. This is a vocabulary drilling exercise for you to comprehend, to develop, and to practice. Okay, estos son ejercicios de desarrollo de vocabulario para que vayan aprendiendo y aplicando el lenguaje de inglés. Ahí tienen la traducción. Igual, yo he tenido estudiantes que han hecho ambos, que lo han hecho la palabra vocabulario en inglés 10 veces y también la palabra en español 10 veces. También, si quieren hacer eso, bienvenidos están para hacerlo. There's plenty of space if you want to do both. Make a bilingual vocabulary exercise. I invite you to do that for you to remember. It helps you comprehend what the translation is. So you can write both words 10 times each. The English vocabulary word and the Spanish translation. 10 times each, and you'll recall what it means. Okay, so that is your vocabulary drilling exercise. Also available for you in Teachers Pay Teachers store, JuanCarlosESL. All right, so now let's go back to our presentation. All right, so guided practice. So guided practice focuses be verb plus progressive verb. But first, we'll introduce how it's introduced in a sentence. So am is an are. They're the be verbs. Tengo, tiene, tienen. You may recall from have and has. But we're going to use that a little bit different in this lesson. So let me just give you an outline. Oh. So I am, es como decir tengo, o yo soy. He is, él tiene, o él es, o she is, ella tiene, o ella es. So I'm just putting in particular format of tienen in this example. They are, ellos tienen, o ellos son. You are, usted tiene, o usted es. So we'll see that in a moment, how this will come to apply with the progressive verb wearing. We'll see that in a moment. So this is just an outline of how we're using be verbs am, is, and are. Just to recall, am you use when the subject is I, first person I, you use am. Is you use when the subject is third person singular, he and she. He is, she is. And are you will use whenever the subject is plural and third person, they are, or second person singular, you are. So that's when you use are, they are, you are. Is used when the he is, she is, and am used with first person singular I am. Just to help you remember. All right, so now let's add progressive verb wearing to the sentence. So here we have I am is the subject, and then tengo, tiene, tienen, am, and then the progressive verb of the lesson is wearing. I am wearing a red shirt. Es como decir en español, yo tengo puesto una camisa roja. Yo tengo puesto una camisa roja. So I am wearing a red shirt. This is one translation in Spanish. He is wearing black pants. Él tiene puesto pantalones negros. So he is wearing black pants. Él tiene puesto pantalones negros. O se está poniendo, if you want to be more specific, poniendo, él se está poniendo pantalones negros. So this is just one translation. You could also put it as él se está poniendo pantalones negros, o él tiene puesto pantalones negros. She is wearing a yellow dress. Ella tiene puesto un vestido amarillo, o ella se está poniendo un vestido amarillo. So there's more than one translation to this sentence in English. I'm only using one on the presentation, but you can hear me read out loud the translation. Ella se está poniendo un vestido amarillo, o ella tiene puesto un vestido amarillo. Here's more examples. We are wearing blue sneakers. We are wearing blue sneakers. Nosotros tenemos puesto tenis azules. Nosotros tenemos puestos tenis azules. O nosotros nos estamos poniendo tenis azules. Poniendo. So you are wearing a brown hat. You are wearing a brown hat. Usted tiene puesto un sombrero café. O usted se está poniendo un sombrero café. They are wearing a gray hoodie. They are wearing a gray hoodie. Ellos tienen puesto una sudadera gris. So, wearing, poniendo o tiene puesto. Okay, ellos tienen puesto una sudadera gris. They are wearing a gray hoodie. All right, so we've come across the subject and then the be verbs and how to apply it with the progressive verb wearing, wearing, wearing. And then take into account that the colors, when we use colors before the noun, that is known as an adjective. That's something we're going to emphasize more in upcoming lessons. Whenever we have the color describing the item, in this case, clothes, or whether it be sneakers or hat, hoodie, whenever colors are used to describe a noun, those colors are known as adjectives. Aquí estamos utilizando los colores, describiendo el sustantivo, el tipo de ropa. Entonces, si los colores están describiendo el sustantivo, se reconoce como un adjetivo. So the colors are adjectives, while the clothes are nouns. Another grammar point we'll be emphasizing on as well. Now let's talk about asking questions. Ahora vamos a hablar asuntos de haciendo preguntas. So what color is your t-shirt? ¿De qué color es su camiseta? ¿De qué color es su camiseta? What color is your t-shirt? What color is your coat? What color is your coat? ¿De qué color es su abrigo? ¿De qué color es su abrigo? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? ¿Qué usted tiene puesto? ¿O qué se está poniendo? ¿Qué usted tiene puesto? And then the conversation dialogue will go as the following. So one student will be A, and then on the left-hand side will be in English. On the right-hand side of the screen will be the Spanish translation. So we talked about using wearing in our sentences. Now we're applying them in how to apply it in questions. So what are you wearing? Hola, ¿qué usted tiene puesto? Then student B will read, I am wearing a shirt, pants, and shoes. Yo tengo puesto una camisa, pantalones, y zapatos. What color is your shirt? ¿De qué color es su camisa? Then student B will respond, I am wearing a green shirt. Yo tengo puesto una camisa verde. And then student A continues the conversation by asking, what color are your pants? ¿De qué color son sus pantalones? I am wearing white pants. Yo tengo puesto pantalones blancos. And then, what color are your shoes? ¿De qué color son sus zapatos? I am wearing dark shoes. Yo tengo puestos zapatos oscuros. So here we have 4 questions and 4 responses. There's a dialogue between 2 students. And then once you finish the dialogue, rotate turns. Rotate rows and have whoever was student A first will now be student B, and whoever was student B first will now be student A. So you rotate turns. Entonces van a tomar turnos. Un estudiante va a ser estudiante A, otro estudiante va a ser estudiante B, y después terminan la conversación y después van a hacer rotación. Van a tomar turnos en la conversación para así todos tengan la oportunidad de hacer preguntas y contestar las preguntas. That way, everyone has opportunity to ask questions and to respond to the questions. And then you want more practice, you could look for a different partner and do a second round with a different student, a different partner. And then the important thing is you practice, you understand, and you develop and progress. Okay? Ahí vamos progresando y mejorando el inglés con más práctica. All right, so that is a guided practice conversation dialogue using colors and clothes, and also using the word wearing as not only a response, but also in our question. You can see wearing is in all the responses, and the word wearing is also in the first question at the top of the conversation. Okay, so that's what we're taking into account in this lesson, how to use the progressive verb wearing. All right, now let's go to the guided practice exercise. So fill in the blank using am, is, are, or wearing. So this you also have available. And let me share this with you. So if you go to the Teachers Pay Teacher store of JuanCarlosESL, you will see the handout available for you in the PDF version, as well as you see here in this video, in this lesson presentation video, you will see it as well. So here is the PDF version, same as the warm-up and the vocabulary drilling exercise. It's available for you in PDF version, meaning you could print it and distribute it to students while you're delivering this lesson. So you put your name, first and last name, the date you're completing the guided practice exercise, JuanCarlosESL Newcomers Lesson 11, colors and clothes, and this is the guided practice, which is emphasizing on grammar and vocabulary. You will fill in the blank using am, is, are, or wearing. So here we have 4 words in particular in the word bank that we could use to fill in the blank. It could be am, is, are, which are the 3 be verbs, am, is, and are. And then we are adding the progressive verb wearing as we came across in the conversation dialogue. So that is also included in the word bank. It could be one of the 4 words you could use to fill in the blank down below. Okay, there are 8 sentences that you will need to complete. And these are the same 8 sentences that you will see in the lesson presentation. So I will give you a moment to complete the sentences. Then you will come back to the lesson presentation and go over the answers as a class. You could share your responses with, once you complete all 8 sentences, you could share your responses with a student who has also finished and see if you have the same answers or a different answer. Then provide feedback to one another why your responses are correct. And then you can share with the class in general. Entonces, son 8 oraciones. Ahí tienen las 4 palabras en la caja que pueden utilizar. Am, is, are, and wearing. Es decir, soy, es, tienen, o también tiene puesto, poniéndose. Son las palabras de vocabulario y también el verbo progresivo. Y esas palabras van a usar para llenar los espacios vacíos en estas 8 oraciones. También incluye un answer key que también vamos a utilizar en un momento, pero primero, antes de ir a esa parte, quiero asegurar que ustedes hagan este ejercicio independientemente. All right, so let's go back now to the guided practice. So I invite you to pause the video and give students the opportunity to complete this exercise independently first, and then you could come back and go over the answers, make sure students are given the opportunity to respond independently first. Then you could have them, once they have completed all 8 sentences, have them share the responses with a partner, see if they have the same answers, invite them to exchange feedback, and support one another, learn and grow. All right, so at this point, I expect that you have already paused the video and everyone's ready to proceed with this guided practice exercise. Espero que ya en ese punto ya han puesto pausa y ya han hecho el ejercicio. Entonces ahora vamos a repasar las respuestas. So fill in the blank using am, is, are, or wearing. So John, whenever the subject is third person, the name of a person, that is third person. And if it's just one name, that means it's singular. Acordémonos, si el sujeto de la oración es el nombre de una persona y solo un nombre, es una sola persona y es tercera persona. Si es tercera persona, if it's third person, that means we have to use the be verb is. So John is wearing a red shirt. John tiene puesto o se está poniendo una camisa o camiseta roja. So una camisa, since we're talking about shirt, camisa. If it's a t-shirt, it'll be camiseta. So here we're just talking about shirt, camisa en español. So John is wearing a red shirt. So number 2, she is. So here the sentence already includes the be verb. So take that into account. If it already has a be verb, you know that you won't be using another be verb in that same sentence. It's already included. So that will, the process of elimination, that comes down to wearing. She is wearing a pink sweater. Ella tiene puesto un suéter rosado. She is wearing a pink sweater. So wearing will be a progressive verb in that sentence. Number 3, we blank wearing a black hat. So wearing is already included in the sentence for number 3, just like we saw in number 1. Wearing was already included. So we're not going to use wearing 2 times in the same sentence. So we know that's going to be a be verb. Sabemos que la respuesta va a ser un be verb porque wearing ya está incluido en la oración. So we, since we're talking about we, that is first person and plural, because we, you're including yourself. Se incluye uno mismo cuando está usando we, como nosotros en español. Uno es parte del grupo cuando dicen nosotros. So we are wearing a black hat. Nosotros nos estamos poniendo un sombrero negro. O tenemos puesto un sombrero negro. We are wearing a black hat. So be verb are will be the answer for number 3. Number 4. So I. So whenever it's first person I, you will say I am. I am wearing an orange jacket. So wearing again is also included. So we won't be using it again. So you know the answer is a be verb. And then the subject is I in first person. So you have to use am. So I am wearing an orange jacket. Yo tengo puesto una chaqueta o una chompa anaranjada. Number 5. Samantha and Leah blank wearing a yellow dress. So let's talk about this for a moment. So Samantha and Leah, those are 2 names, meaning we're talking about 2 people, meaning the subject is plural. Whenever you talk about 2 or more people, that subject is plural. Cuando se habla de 2 nombres, es decir, que estamos hablando de 2 personas, y es decir, que el sujeto de la oración es plural. Estamos hablando de 2 más personas, sujeto es plural. The subject is plural. Samantha and Leah are wearing a yellow dress. So are will be the be verb, just like we. In this case, the subject is plural, talking about third person. Samantha and Leah, third person, and it's plural. So it's like saying they are. In this case, Samantha and Leah are wearing a yellow dress. All right, so that's number 5. Number 6, you blank wearing a purple skirt. You are wearing a purple skirt. Okay, you are wearing a purple skirt. So that is number 6. You are wearing a purple skirt. Number 7, Jack is wearing white sneakers. Jack is wearing white sneakers. So you already have the be verb is included. So you know the be verb you will not repeat after a be verb. So you have to use a progressive verb wearing in this example, in this case. So Jack is wearing white sneakers. And number 8, they are wearing brown socks. Ellos tienen puesto calcetines cafés. Okay, they are wearing brown socks. So that is the guided practice. So you have is. Let's read all 8 sentences one more time to ensure everyone understands and has the correct answers. John is wearing a red shirt. She is wearing a pink sweater. We are wearing a black hat. I am wearing an orange jacket. Samantha and Leah are wearing a yellow dress. You are wearing a purple skirt. Jack is wearing white sneakers. They are wearing brown socks. All right, very good, class. So that is our guided practice. So just to share with you one more time, going back to the guided practice exercise, the PDF version, you can see the guided practice. These are the 8 sentences that we just went over. And then it also includes the answer key as well. So let's read it one more time here in the PDF version. John is wearing a red shirt. She is wearing a pink sweater. We are wearing a black hat. I am wearing an orange jacket. Samantha and Leah are wearing a yellow dress. You are wearing a purple skirt. Jack is wearing white sneakers. They are wearing brown socks. Okay, that is our guided practice exercise. Again, you'll find this in Teachers Pay Teachers, store JuanCarlosESL. All right, now let's go back to our guided practice. That concludes our guided practice. Now we've completed the review, the warm-up, the vocabulary, and guided practice. Now we're going to go over the independent practice exercise instructions, and then we'll get to the exit ticket followed by the quiz. So in the independent practice, the students will be instructed to complete independent practice exercise of 30 sentences. Students are to identify and write the correct be verb or progressive verb. So I'll get to that in a moment. And then for more efficient practice, after completing the exercise, students will practice reading aloud all 30 sentences. Okay, so let's take a look at that. What is the independent practice exercise? So I'm going to go now to the independent practice exercise. Okay, so this is a PDF version of the independent practice. So you also be able to find the independent practice and Teachers Pay Teachers store JuanCarlosESL. You can see here name, students will put the first and last name and the date they're completing the independent practice. Van a poner su primer nombre y apellido y la fecha que están completando o haciendo este ejercicio de la práctica independiente. See, JuanCarlosESL Newcomers Lesson 11, Colors and Clothes, independent practice. So part A, you will fill in the blank. Instructions read, always read the instructions before you complete an exercise. Siempre lea las instrucciones antes de comenzar un ejercicio. Bien importante. So fill in the blanks using the correct be verb, am, is, or are. So here we know we have to use a be verb, am, is, or are. And I also share with you an example. I am wearing a black jacket. So you have to take into account the subject of every sentence. Tome en cuenta el sujeto de cada oración para determinar qué be verb le toca utilizar. Si es am, is, or are. So I gave you an example. So in the missing spaces and the missing blanks, you will fill it in with one of three be verbs, am, is, or are, depending on the subject of the sentence. That's 1 through 15. Entonces, de 1 a 15, van a utilizar un be verb para llenar el espacio vacío. That's part A. Part B, you will write sentences. En parte B, le toca escribir oraciones. So, instructions, write complete sentences using am, is, or are, and wearing. So, not only will you write a be verb, but you're also going to write the progressive verb wearing in part B of the independent practice exercise. Use the words in parentheses to form a sentence. See the example. So here we have an example. So example, what you see in parentheses are the words you'll be using to form a sentence. Las palabras que ve en paréntesis son las palabras que van a utilizar para formar una oración. You, in parentheses, you, and then you have parentheses, red socks. So you are wearing red socks. So you'll be using the be verb are, and then the progressive verb wearing in the same sentence. So you form a sentence using the subject that's in parentheses, and then the predicate, which is also in the second parentheses, and in between, you'll be putting a be verb and the progressive verb wearing, so that together they form one complete sentence. You are wearing red socks. Entonces, en el primer paréntesis es el sujeto de la oración. En el segundo paréntesis es el predicate, como decir, el complemento de la oración. Es la segunda parte de la oración que va a estar en el segundo paréntesis. Y juntos con el be verb am, is, or are, y también el verbo progresivo wearing, van a formar una oración completa. So you'll be writing a complete sentence for numbers 16 through 30. So, and then that's part B of the independent practice. So you will write sentences. So write complete sentences using am, is, and, or are. And then use a progressive verb wearing in every sentence. From number 16 to 30, you have to use wearing in each sentence. So take that into account. Okay? So that's part B. And there is an answer key down below. So for the teachers, you will see and also homeschooling programs and correctional education programs, it's there for you. So once you complete the independent practice, also for homeschooling students, once you complete the exercise, you could grade your work, and teachers, you could grade your students' work as well. All right, so that is the independent practice exercise. Again, this is available for you in Teachers Pay Teachers store, JuanCarlosESL. Lesson 11, colors and clothes, independent practice. All right, so once you have completed all 30 sentences and the independent practice, I invite you to read out loud. For more efficient practice, after completing the exercise, students will practice reading aloud all 30 sentences. So continue reading, continue practicing. That is how we learn. Así es como uno aprende un nuevo lenguaje, practicando, leyendo en voz alta, no solo en el salón, también afuera del salón de clase, también vayan practicando el lenguaje de inglés. So not only will we be practicing English inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom, at home, in the community, with your friends, with your family. Practice, practice, practice. Vayan practicando en la comunidad, con su amistad.